Yeah, good day, everyone. Welcome back to the Experience AI Educators program. So, we are into lesson number one. What is AI? So, for those of you that were with us on camp, so we've gone through some of this phase, but because of others, so I'll be taking you into this section again. So, what is and do not forget that this is the same slide you're going to be using to train the students and is designed for students between age 13, you know, age 11 to 13, basically secondary school students, GSS1 to SS3. All right, so don't forget that this material is meant for them, and it's also a very interactive material. So while you are going to be training them, be put that in mind that it's going to be very interactive material. So you engage the student, you don't just teach them verbatim, you engage them. So that's how they can really learn. So of course, what is intelligence? That's where to start from. So you make the student to interact with their colleagues, discover what they discuss with the person next to you what intelligence is. So of course, intelligence, as described, has the ability to learn and adapt to new situation. Right. So this lesson is going to be um, we are going to focus on three areas describing the difference between data driven and rule based approach to application development. So, the name examples of AI applications and outline some benefits, issues of using AI application. So, and we you are to use this piece of paper intelligent sample to teach the students on what intelligence is. So my intelligent piece of paper has never lost a game of noughts and crosses. So it's a game that enables two players to play and see who wins, right? One will play on behalf of human and one will follow the instruction given by an intelligent piece of paper, right? So use your mind and that person will follow the instruction used by intelligent paper. So here we have the sample intelligent paper. So here move move one, place an X in a corner. So move two. If the other player did not place an O in the opposite corner, then place S in the opposite corner to move one. Right. So these are instructions the other volunteer is going to be following, and we'll have another volunteer is going to be playing against the paper intelligence. So you can follow through this guide, just 5 step guide using the sample that we have here. So just make it interactive, so it's not going to be boring to them, right? So the piece of paper had instructions on it. Does that make the piece of paper intelligent? No. So the piece of paper is not intelligent. It is a set of if-then rules and cannot adapt itself to new situations. So for those of us that are familiar with programming, programming is basically a set of instructions you give to computer, to perform a particular task. So that is rule based. All right. So what is artificial intelligence? So now this is an activity one. Now you have to consider what is meant by intelligence, and we've looked at that. Um, Definitely, you have your worksheets with you. So for very interactive session, you need to really walk through, check the workbook that is given alongside with this material, so you understand how to really interact with it, and also engage the student alongside. All right. So we have a video here. You should play the video. I will advise you that you already download the video and insert it to your slide so that you can easily play it for your students. So using AI to solve problems. So for you to solve problems, basically we have two ways: using rule based and also using data driven. So rule based is basically using the intelligent paper that we talked about earlier, and database is like feeding your machine with as much data as you can so that the machine can, you know, predict what the right answer is, or predict based on the data it has been fed with. So in order for that to work, you will, for you to build an application, you need a model. And we were told here that a model is a representation of real world context. So um, an example is AI chatbox. So we have uses vast amount of data to create conversational model. An application can use this model to hold conversation. So basically, when you want to build a when you want to build an application, you must use a model. Now, building an AI chatbot requires you to understand, use a model. Are you trying to build an application that um, customer service application or what, right? So whatever you want to build, you will definitely have a case study, an example of what that thing is. So that's you building that model, right? So another one, we have a data-driven model. Is used for to solve a problem. So when you understand what a model is, more like a real-world example of what you want to do, then you will now build a data-driven model to solve that problem. Okay, so usually rely on massive number of examples, lot of data to detect patterns to create representations. So, um, like I said, AI chatbot is an example of a data-driven um, model that you build to solve a problem. So we also have creating a model. For you now to create a model, let's say you want to create a model um, using shares. We already know uh, shares game already exists, right? So for you now to computerize that shares game based on a data-driven model so that the shares can play itself, right? So that the shares can play against human, right? So for you to build that, you will need data. So this is an example of a model we are talking about, a chess game, right? A model of a chess player. So now we have the first sample. What do you want the model to be able to do? So it's either for each turn, choose which piece to play and where to move it to, have the highest chance of winning. So basically, if you want to use a rule-based model to build this chess, you have to give it instruction as to what to do, what not to do, and all of that, like that paper, intelligent paper. But for you to really build, and that will be very difficult to build, right? So, but for you to really build an AI-based chess game, so you will need a lot of data. And what kind of data do you need? You know, what data will you need to create a model where each piece has been placed in previous games, whether combinations of moves resulted in a win or loss. So you have gotten um, sample games that have been played in the past, fed it to that feed it to that machine so that the machine can be able to see the moves of past players, you know, the moves that led to winning and also the moves that led to loss and the moves that led to draw. So thousands of moves of different players, are stored, of which enable that will now enable the machine to learn from the mistakes of the players, from their successes, and then be able to make decision based on that, right? So we have an example of an AI machine that has been built in the past 1996. So that is called Deep Blue, that beats the world's best player at that time, right? So, and it's because multiple moves of that same player and multiple other players, were captured into the machine, and then the machine keeps learning um, the best moves to take, right? AI application, generative AI. So that's about that. Now, talking about generative AI is basically applications that are built to generate creative content such as sound, images, and text. So you have to engage your students in a way that makes them to get um, familiarized and then get used to some of these things. AI application generating art. So if they have access to internet, you can make them to go to the link, and then try to generate um, an image, right? So we have an example. So when we talk about generative AI, it's basically an AI application that can generate image, that can produce sound, and that can also generate text, right? So an example of application that generate text is an application, AI application like ChatGPT. ChatGPT today too can generate images, right? So we have lots of other AI machine or applications that can generate sound and many more. So now AI application to computer vision. So the first one we talked about is generative AI, and the second one now is computer vision. Computer vision is a field of AI that attempts to gain meaningful information from images. One way it does this is by identifying objects in an image, right? If you look at this image, why do you think there are percentages next to each object that has been identified? Now you ask your students, right? Some of them can think through it, right? So if you look at it, this is an AI looking at this object, and for the AI to be able to make, based on the information the AI has, can now make um, can now detect or identify the images that is seeing. Number one, the AI, the machine, can see a tractor. So this is 97% a tractor. So there's higher probability that this is truly a tractor. But if you look at the motorbike image, it realized that this is motorbike, but it could be something else, right? That looks like motorbike. So it's not very sure based on the view that the AI can see. So with that, it's giving a 71% motorbike, right? So this is a van, and this van too is also 84%. So if an AI gives you probability of 100%, that's is very sure that that is, you know, what that object is, can really identify. And how will um, a computer identify an object? The only way, because computer does not have eye, the only way that computer is not like human being that can, you know, identify objects with their eye and all of that, right? But we are with computer vision, it's now giving computer, an eye to see, not just to see, but to also identify what what the computer is seeing. So that is exactly what computer vision is about. And that is an example of AI or a field of AI. So computer vision tasks. Use the website linked in your worksheet to choose an image. Right, we have several images in your worksheet, right? The link in the worksheet to be able to interact with. So use it to predict what is the image. Study the confidence score, right? Scores of that image. Now, these three images, let's use the fruit image. So we have several images here. We have banana, we have cucumber, we have lemon, we have apple, we have, you know, orange, and many more images, objects in that one particular image. So, so now, once you study that, how will computer, with computer vision, how will you be able to identify orange from that list of from the picture that is there? So things to think about: where can you see this technology being used, and who will benefit from it and how? Right? For instance, you can see using the fruit picture now is relevant in the grocery store, right? So what might be the problems of being able to automatically identify people and objects in the image, right? So possible problem is when it's not clear, right? When the images are not clear enough to be difficult to identify, right? So AI or not AI, on the plenary page of your worksheet, look at the example application for each one, decide whether or not you think it uses AI, and justify your answer. Think about whether it is rule-based or data-driven. So that's just now let's quickly run through it. Spreadsheet that uses formulas to work out the total cost of holiday, right, is basically not AI. Why? Because it uses formula, and formula is rule-based. So that's an answer to that. Question two: online streaming service that recommends film based on users' viewing habits. An example of that is Netflix, right? If you go on Netflix, if you watch one movie there today, tomorrow when you come back, you want to watch another one. It's not even tomorrow. Immediately, it will recommend other videos or movies that uh, that have um, the same the, the same kind of video, right? Recommend what you love to watch based on what you have watched in the past. We'll now be able to recommend more videos like that for you to watch, right? And that is definitely AI. The service will use the viewing habits of the user, compare it to other users, and make a prediction of what the user will like to watch next. There are too many users of an online streaming service to be able to create rules for each user. So that's basically um, an AI. The answer there is AI. All right. So question number three: customer service chatbots that tries to solve common problems that customers usually have. And this could be an AI, and this also may not be an AI, it may be an instruction based. Before the use of AI chatbot that we have today, there has always been chatbots that follow instruction. But the challenge with that is that it's limited to the number of rules that is given to that chatbot. But with the help of AI, he said if the chatbot is able to recognize the meaning of any sentence that the customer enters and use a model to produce an appropriate response, this will make it an AI application instead of rule based. So it could be an AI, and it could also be um, rule based. So summary of what we look like: AI can be used to solve problems. AI uses data driven models to represent the real world. models make predictions. So we've also looked at what AI is, artificial intelligence. So using the space provided on your worksheet, update your description of what is meant by artificial intelligence based on all that have been said and we've gone through. So these are activities meant for your students, right? So this gives them a better understanding of what AI is, and the fact that AI is not just magic, right? It's simple understanding basic stuffs, how some of these things happen. So by tomorrow, we're also going to be looking at, by the next lesson, we're going to be looking at how computer learn from data, right? Your computers are your machine. How do they learn from data, right? So I think these are very interesting uh, stuff that you personally need to understand. Once you understand it, you can be able to um, engage with your student, and most importantly, you can also be able to further your learning, and you yourself be able to create, AI applications, and these are very easy applications. Definitely, we are going to migrate to that level in the course of this training. So for the fact that we are posting our videos online on YouTube, I will continue after even this slide. I will continue to share some knowledge on AI. We're going to be migrating bit by bit. We are going to migrate to building agentic AI, workflows, and all of that. Okay, so please let's keep interacting with this video. Let's wait for the next video that we're going to drop soon. Thank you. Have a great day. Please do not forget to subscribe so that you will be able to get the information on time and be able to follow along um, with others. All right. Thank you.